Well, hello everybody. Today is April 14th and it has been a busy week. I'm up at the office and doing some paperwork, some warranty registrations and some invoices and blah blah blah. All the other stuff that goes along with working for yourself and that kind of stuff. But today I want to talk about telemarketers. I know everybody gets that phone call and it's just like, geez, would you just go away? But here's how I feel about them. You ever see a movie or a TV show or something where you got some kids, some little boys walking out in the woods and they come across a stream or a pond or something and they all jump in it or they go across it, and when they all come out, there's always one kid, one little boy that feels something down in his pants, and he looks down and he's crying because there's a leech attached to his private parts, and all the other kids are laughing at him and he's sitting there crying because he's got that leech attached to him, and it's just kind of a funny thing. But that's how I feel about the telemarketers, attached to that little boy sucking his blood. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you a couple stories about some telemarketers that I have, some encounters with telemarketers that I have gotten over the years. The first one, guy called me, tells me about how great his service is, and it's a website service. They build your website for you, and I say, well, how does it work? And they say, well, ours is really great. It's a small little website and it's got a cheesy picture on it. He didn't tell me that, but after I looked at their product, I saw the cheesy pictures, and it's just a little cheesy website. And he told me that his website was like taking a Ferrari engine and putting it into a Geo Metro. And he was kind of a high pressure guy, and I was on my way to a manufacturer meeting for a supper and class and that kind of thing. So anyway, I was on my way and I was in the truck driving and bored talking to him and listening to his spiel, and I said, well, that sounds pretty good, and I was just getting started, and so I said, well, I need some way to get my name out there and blah 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 blah. So I said, okay. So he said, well, we need your credit card number because we need to take $199 out and for the setup fee and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. Just to get him off the phone. So I went ahead and did it. As soon as he got my credit card number, I heard this little bell. Bing, bing, bing. Like the type you see on a hotel counter. The little round bell with the little dinger at the top. And as soon as it rang, I heard back in the background a bunch of applause. Everybody in this, I pictured it as a call center. How you see on another movie where they have a quota they have to meet, and once they get a sucker, and I see this big neon marquee thing saying sucker, sucker, sucker. That's how I just picture it in my head when it happens. And I heard all the applause, and I thought, well, damn. And I felt like that sign flashing, sucker, sucker, sucker. So I couldn't do anything about it that night because I was on my way to that meeting. So I went home, I looked them up, and usually I'm the type that I don't make a decision like that right away. I wait, because it is my hard-earned money that I'm giving to these people. So I want to make sure that it's the right product for me. And after I looked, I said, well, I called them and said, hey, the website kind of it looks cheesy and it's just not for me. It's just not what I want to portray myself as. So they gave me my money back. So that's number one story. Number two story is, and I get these people calling me quite a bit, even after I tell them don't call me no more. I don't want to hear from you. Number two is this woman called me. She said she had the perfect thing for me. It was a lead generation service, and only one contractor in the area gets the leads. And we all know how the lead generation service works. Customer logs into their computer, searches up heating and air repair, and they hit the enter button, and it takes you to a bunch of, Google, whatever. And so, anyway, so one contractor in that particular area is the only one that gets the call. And she went through all her spiel, telling me how great her service was, and if you take Atlanta and you draw a circle around it, and like you're cutting a pie, divide it up. Well, I live up on the northwest side of Atlanta, about 30 miles from Atlanta. And after she told me her spiel, she said, well, the only area that we have for you is in this other area from where you live, but it's really not that far for you to go. It turned out it was in the southeast side of Atlanta. I live here. She wanted me to do my service calls down here. And since she's not paying for the gas and it's not her time, what does she care as long as she gets to make the sale? And I told her, I said, well, that's not for me because I live up here, it's down here, and you might as well sign me up for New York City, because that's what it would be like. Not quite that bad, but it's probably 50 miles down that area. And who wants to drive 50 miles all the time to do service? Not me. I know there's people that do it, and there's a lot of days where I drive 200 miles a day, but it's actually locally that I'm doing it, but I do cover a big area. So anyway, so I told her no thanks. And 2 weeks, no, it was like 2 days later, she called me back. It's been a while, but she called me back, offering me the exact same thing that I just told her no on. So that was another one. That's, leech sucking the blood again. And just recently, I got another call from the exact same company, but a different guy. This one was a funny one because I just happened to have some time to be entertained by his conversation. And if you talk to these people, the phone calls are entertaining because they had no idea about our business. They just know about the computer side, or basically I don't know what they know, but they don't know anything about our business, the slow times, the fast times, the busy times. They don't know anything about that. They just know that their product is the best in the world and you're a fool if you don't use it. So anyway, so this guy calls and he tells me who he is, and I told him, I said, look, I'm not a rude guy. I truly am not, and I don't want to hang up on anybody. But I tell him, look, I know about your product. I'm not interested, and we can end this call one of two different ways. It's totally up to you how I end it. We can either end as friends and me saying no thanks, I'm okay, I don't want your service, and we can end it as friends and go on about our business. Or I can just hang up. And he said, well, if you want me to get off the phone, you're just going to have to hang up on me. But before you do, let me, and I was thinking, I almost hit the end button. And I said, well, let me hear him out. I've got a few minutes. I got a little time to kill. So I let him tell me his story. Tell me about his product. So, and I was kind of excited about it just to play along with him. And he proceeded to tell me how they use keywords and SEO and all the other stuff that Google and Bing and Yahoo and all those search engines look at, which I know about to an extent. So I'm like, well, alright, I said, well, just give me some examples, because I want to look, while I'm on the phone with you, I want to look you up online by the keywords so I can tell what's going on, if you're being honest with me. So he said, okay, here's a good one that we use quite a bit. I said, okay, what is it? He said, just type in reliable heating and air contractor. Well, he is local. He's on the northern part of Atlanta. I'm over here. He's kind of over here in the pie, if you divided it up like that. So he's more north than I am. Well, I know he hears his radio, and I know he watches TV. So by him telling me to search reliable heating and air contractors, he would know that in Atlanta there is a company, and they're pretty big, called Reliable Heating and Air. So as soon as I heard these keywords, I said, well, that would never, ever, ever work for me. And he said, oh, no, you're wrong. That's a great, we invest millions of dollars a year in these keywords, anyway, so I told him, I said, look, one of the biggest heating and air companies in Atlanta is Reliable Heating and Air. Just 20 miles from me. Not even 20, 10 miles from me. And so if you search that, their name's going to come up. Well, then he still proceeded to tell me how full of it I was. Well, what do you say? I said, all right, well, so give me some more keywords. And I kind of look at it, and maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of look at it as what I would search for online. Like, I would search HVAC repair, heating and air repair, or air conditioning repair, or something similar to that, because that's what we do, or ductwork modification, or something like that. And he was giving me these weird things that really doesn't have anything to do with what I do. So I told him, I said, well, you're wrong, man. Those are bad keywords. It would never work. And through his keywords, I checked, and I couldn't find his company's name or anything like that. But he proceeded to tell me that, hey, I told him, I said, well, you're telling me all this, but I'm going to tell you one thing. You guys call me and make all these promises, but I'll give it to you plain and simple. When I need you the most, meaning when it's mild outside, you're not there for me. And then when I don't need you the most, meaning when it's hot or really cold outside and we're really busy, that's when I don't need you at all. So they're set up to take he said they have different packages, $350, $900, $1,200, or whatever, prepaid every month, which I'm not going to prepay anybody for jack when they provide a service that I can't really see. And maybe I'm wrong, but with these guys, they're more con artists than anything, and you can tell by talking to them. So anyway, so he started kind of getting irritated with me because I'm not playing along with his game. I am, and I was in the beginning, but every time he said something, I countered it with something else, and he was like, well, so finally I told him. He said, well, how come have we been on the phone for so long? I said, well, it's kind of slow outside. And he was like, dude, you're telling me you don't need my service, and you're telling me you're slow. And I said, well, that's because everybody is slow right now. I said, there's not a company out there right now that's not slow. Then he says, well, you're wrong, because the people that use our service are busy. I said, well, dude, I beg to differ, because I know all kind of people that work for other people, big companies, the ones with 40 service guys. They have 60, 70, 80 trucks on the road. installers too, included in that. And they're slow. Their guys are going home half a day and working the next. And he told me that the people that use his service would tell me I was wrong because they stay busy all the time. I said, really? He said, yeah. And I said, well, you know, we've gone through the whole story. Now, remember the lady I talked to that worked for the same company that was telling me how good the service was? Remember, she told me that they only let one contractor in a particular area do their work. They only feed leads to that one particular contractor in that area. Now, see, the first lady told me that. This guy didn't tell me that. And so I turned it on him and I said, well, if your service is so great, then what happened to the guy that used to do the work in my area that you're promising me that I'll get all this work from? If it's so great, how come he's still not doing your service? Well, then the guy gets mad at me. He says then, and this is the overall weirdest, most offensive thing a telemarketer could ever say. I mean, when he made this comment, I swear to God, you would think that I got a call from a bill collector. And I couldn't believe he would even say it. And anybody that I told that he said it said, well, are you sure that's what he... I said, I'm God's honest, 100% sure. Alright, so here it is. After telling him that his service was no good because of other contractors not doing the work anymore for him, he proceeded to tell me, he said this. Are you ready? He said, you must be a broke son of a bitch. I was floored. I mean, 100% floored. I asked him, I said, so, dude, well, first off, he doesn't even know me. I mean, I could have $1 million in the bank, which I don't, but I'm comfortable enough to make it through some slow times. And I was like, so now after telling me that, what you just said, that I was a broke son of a bitch, you still want me to buy your service? And he said, well, yeah. I was like, really? I wish I would have had the video camera, because that would have been a great video. A great one, just from the conversation and him saying that. So anyway, so I don't even know how that call ended. I just hung up the phone, probably. It wasn't 2 days later I get another call from the same company. And I don't know if it was the same guy. It sounded like the same guy. And I got the call, told him that, you know, hey, your guy had just called me a couple of days prior and I'm not interested in the service. And he wanted to go on. This time I wasn't having it because I just didn't want to talk to him. So I told him, I said, well, dude, I'm going to hang up the phone. And I just hung up on him. He called me back 5 minutes later and he was laughing. He was laughing when he called me back because he could not understand why I would hang up the phone on that guy, on him. And that's what he did. He laughed. He said, surely you got cut off. There's no way you would have hung up on me because I offer such a great product. I keep calling it a product, but that's basically what it is. I said, no, man, sorry. I did hang up on you because I'm just not interested in your service. And he kept wanting to talk, keep talking. And I was like, sorry, dude. But I am busy. I'm going into a supply house. I got to pick up a part for something. And which I wasn't lying. And I said, I ain't got time to talk to you. And please take me off your list. So that's my couple stories about telemarketers. and being the leeches that just suck the blood out of you. And you know, the only way to get rid of a leech is to burn them off. So the next time I get a call from these people, and I know they will because I always tell them, don't call me. Hopefully that same guy calls me and he forgets it was me, and I'll do a video, and hopefully I can get him to say what he said again about me being a broke son of a bitch. So anyway, telemarketers, man, what are you gonna do? Anyway, have a great day. Bye.